Unfortunately, cities, states, and the federal government are all coming after your bank account. And it's not because of the banking system itself. It's not because of a potential banking crisis or regional banks completely going under. It's a completely different reason, and this reason should scare you. I know for me personally, it's a little concerning. And I'll break down what's going on in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates, and now let's begin. So why would cities, states, and the federal government be coming after our bank accounts? What are they looking for? And are they trying to figure out, are we committing fraud? Are we stealing money? What are we doing? No, it actually has nothing to do with that. The reason why cities and states, and including the federal government, are looking at our bank and our different accounts is because they are short. They are trying to figure out where all the money is going, because as of right now, cities, states, and the federal government are all broke. Just look at this. It says Houston's mayor has said the city is broke, but what is behind the budget shortfall? Here's what I can tell you. Major cities, including Los Angeles, let's just look at this. It says LA looks at eliminating up to 2,000 vacant positions as the city budget outlook worsens. Just in Los Angeles alone, they have a $475 million budget gap. In the city of San Francisco, they currently have a budget shortfall of about $800 million. City of Chicago, another major city here in the US, back in September, it said City of Chicago forecasted a $538 million budget gap for 2024. Guess what? That's actually increased. They're expecting a larger budget gap because of the migrant crisis. But it doesn't stop there. Even New York is anticipating to have about an $8 billion budget shortfall. But it says New York City library cuts stand in Mayor Eric Adams' $112 billion budget proposal. I want to read you a little bit from this. But the reason why this is so important is because all these budget cuts that we are seeing from the cities and these states, they're going to affect you. They're going to come after your money, your bank account. Now, I want to read you this first, okay? I want to read you what is being said in Eric Adams' budget proposal. But just look at this right here, okay? It says Mayor Eric Adams proposed a nearly $112 billion spending plan on Wednesday that reverses unpopular cuts to schools and police, fire, and sanitation services, but it leaves libraries with a multi-million-dollar hole that will mean continuing Sunday closures at nearly all branches. That's what's happening in New York. That is being actually advertised and talked about in mainstream media. It's happening in Denver. It's happening in Seattle, in Portland, in San Francisco, in Los Angeles, in San Diego, right? It's happening all over the place, in Boston, right? Every major city out there is feeling the effects of all the crises that we're facing. But here's what's going on. We are now making cuts. So look at this one. It says nearly a 20% tax rate hike in proposed Watertown budget. More hurt is coming. And look at this one as well. It says property tax rate increases for Johnson City and schools. Here's what I can tell you, and this is why cities, states, and the federal government is all coming after our money. And they're trying to look at our bank accounts. Just think about this. Remember when the federal government was going to allow the IRS to, or wanted banks to submit a form anytime somebody spent more than $600? Anytime you spent more than $600. And it wasn't something that added up and it accrued to $600. It was any payment that was over $600. So if you had a car payment over $600, the bank would have to report it. If you have a rent payment or a house payment or could be life insurance, whatever it was, anytime $600 transferred accounts, the IRS had to be notified because they want to know where money's going. They want to know who they should be taxing so that they can go and pull money from them. Think about this one. When you go into a bank and let's say you go up to the teller and you say, yeah, I'd really like $8,000, and the teller says, you know what, that's a little much. What do you need it for? And then they start asking questions. Well, in some cases, if you need $8,000 and you're just going to transfer from one bank account to the other, you could probably do it with a cashier's check or a wire. You actually don't need $8,000 in cash. But if it's like, well, I want to pay my landscaper, I want to pay him cash. He wants all $5 bills. Well, then they might be like, okay, I guess I got $5 bills, right? But in some cases, all they're trying to do is figure out, where are you taking the money? There needs to be a paper trail here. But here's what I think is interesting. The more and more cities across the United States, they are going broke. And they're going to take the money from one of two places. Okay? Keep this in mind. The first place they're going to look is the federal government. Can we get more money from the government? Can me as a mayor or a governor say, you know what, President Biden, you're doing a fantastic job. Could you give me an additional $50 billion because, well, my state blew through our budget, we have no money, and we are going broke. Chances are that's never going to happen. But the second option is you go right to the city's residents, right to the people of the state, and you can increase taxes, you can ask for more fees, you can do so many different things. Here's what somebody told me today. Okay? They said, this is the way we are raising. Now, I'm not going to say, which city this is. This is a city official. Okay? Here's what they said. This city, and it's not actually here in Washington State, but they are going to raise property taxes. Now, this is actually on the table. This is something that they are planning on doing in the next 2 months. They're going to raise taxes. That's the first way. They're going to come after your income. Okay? This is a major city as well. They're also going to increase city service fees. So if you need the city to come in and cut down a tree, they need to cut down a tree to make room for power lines, or there's something with the sewage or whatever. City service fees are going to increase. Need an inspection? Guess what? It's going to increase. The price is going to cost more. Yeah. You need papers printed at the county courthouse? Guess what? It's going to cost you more money. Yeah. Fees are going up. Not just because of inflation, but because they need more money. Here's another one I think is interesting. Schools are actually reducing their budgets. It says multiple schools across our district are going to go towards pay to play. So if you are in a school sporting activity, it could be football, basketball, soccer, baseball, lacrosse, rugby, swimming, volleyball, doesn't matter. If you're in a sport, you have to pay to play, because as of right now, schools have to put out the money for coaches. They have to put out the money for uniforms or referees or school buses to transport you from one location to the next. Guess what? It's now going to be put on the students. Here's another thing that's going to be put on the students. You need books, right? Well, guess what? You have to buy the books. The school is not going to provide all the books for every single student. Instead, they will provide books for X amount of students, and those students that receive it, great. Those that don't, sorry, you have to go out there and buy the book. Yeah. Then guess what happens when you're done using the book? Now you don't need it. Do you take it back to the store or send it back to Amazon? Or you just give it right to the school, and now the school has additional books. Yeah, that's what they're hoping for. Here's another one. Teachers are going to be laid off. You're simply going to see teachers get laid off because the school can't afford them. The other option, when it's a real emergency, is the school will simply close down. Here's another one. Tickets are going up. Let's say you're driving downtown and you park in a place where you probably shouldn't park, or you're there for a little bit too long. Well, you normally get charged a little bit of a fee. You get a ticket. Now, I know this because I was actually parked in downtown Seattle. We were near the Space Needle, and so I was in a little parking area, and they said my tires were over the line. Well, yes, my tires were over the line. It said I took up 2 parking spots. So you know what they did? Instead of charging me for 2 parking spots for the hour and a half that I was there, they charged me a $75 fee. And what I think was very interesting about this is the only reason why I was pushed over is because a city worker in a city van was parked right next to me, working on a little thing right there next to them, and their van was over in the line. That was the only parking spot that they had. So I parked there. I get charged a fee. And yes, that fee was a little bit more than it was just last year. Here's another one. Speeding, you will pay more. You have expired registration, expired tabs, you're going to pay more. You got no insurance, you're going to pay more. All these things, they're increasing all these fees again because they need more money going back to the city and the state. Here's another one that I absolutely love. That right now we are fighting for higher wages, increase our minimum wage, right? $15 an hour nationwide, $20 an hour for fast food workers in California, which is now pushing the minimum wage in California even up higher because more people, more businesses are now looking at fast food workers and saying, you know what? They are flipping a burger and putting fries in oil and they're getting $20 an hour. Yet I'm an assistant for a dental company or a law firm and I'm only making $18, $19 an hour. I'm just going to quit and go work there. So now the wages are going up, and as wages go up, these cities and states that actually collect income tax, well, guess what? They are making more money because you are making more money. How great is that? So again, we're fighting for a higher minimum wage, but at the same time, these cities and states are like, perfect, because now we'll make more money. This is great. So if you think you're not going to be affected because of these cities going broke, they are coming after your money. They're coming after your income, and they're doing it right now before your eyes, and most people have no clue. 99% of people that I've talked to have no idea that because the city is struggling, they are going to be the ones that are footing the bill. It's not going to be on the city. It's not going to be on the state. The federal government's not going to come in and save the day. No. They're going to all come after you and me and try to get our money to pay their shortfall. So make sure you watch, see what's coming up, because I guarantee you there's some interesting things happening. And as soon as mainstream media breaks these stories, and as soon as we see some of these reports out there, I promise I will bring you those updates. But as of right now, there's certain things I can't say, because I promise these certain people, but there's some crazy things happening right now. So make sure you stick around and watch all the other videos that I do. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe so you never miss an update, because I guarantee you there's some crazy stuff happening right now. And as soon as this breaks, you're going to be like, wow, this is absolutely crazy. So that's what we got for you guys today. Again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.